Finally, Vivo launched the V25 Pro, the latest addition to their mid-range lineup. The brand has retained the standout features from the V23 Pro, like color-changing design, 3D curved display, and a slim form factor. They have improved the camera performance with the 64-megapixel primary camera supporting OIS and Super Night Portrait. There is also a brand new chipset and a bigger battery. So, do these changes improve the user experience? And most importantly, does the camera performance live up to the claims? Vivo V25 Pro runs on Android 12 out of the box, which is combined with Vivo's own FunTouch OS 12 skin. This was my first interaction with the UI, and the experience so far has been positive. Yes, there is some bloatware on the device with preloaded short-form content apps, all of which can be uninstalled. I don't want to rant about this anymore, considering virtually every brand is doing it with a few exceptions like Nothing Phone 1. Looking past that, the UI is surprisingly well put together with the very minimal bugs that I have observed so far. Let's start with what I like about it. FunTouch OS has been around for a while, and my assumption about it was in stark contrast to what it is. It is aesthetically pleasing and colorful with the app icons popping out. I also like the treatment for taskbars, shelf, and calendar. It is very different from what other brands are offering, reinforcing the USP of the Android universe. Apply your skin and make wonders. The OS also wins big in terms of customization. Yes, you get the usual dark and light mode here, but there is plenty more in store. From changing themes, app icon sizes, text sizes, and animation, the device does allow interacting with to the fullest. The widgets on offer are plenty, and with Android 12 the execution is top-notch. I generally avoid using widgets and shortcuts for emails or messaging apps, but with FunTouch OS 12 I was encouraged to do so. I am also a video producer, hence recording audio notes for voiceovers is a big task in my profile. On the FunTouch OS, the audio recorder lets you record and edit your audio like a timeline. This is niche feature, but for someone like me, it truly came in handy, saving me time. There is also game space on the device, which improves the gaming experience. It has neat features like voice changer, shortcut, and performance modes. So far, I have encountered just one bug that shows up after long intervals. This is with the YouTube app. With the app just crashes even after multiple attempts. After I clear out the rest of the background activity, this gets sorted out. This is nothing serious, and I am hoping Vivo can fix it with a OTA updates. By the time we are publishing this video, Vivo is yet to confirm the situation of future software updates on the device. This will be updated once there is a response from the brand. Vivo V25 Pro is powered by MediaTek Dimensity 1300 5G chipset. Yes, the same SoC we have lately seen on Note 2T. A device I reviewed, the SoC on my review unit is paired with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage. A point of note here is that this is LPDDR4 RAM, in line with most of the phones in this budget. An LPDDR5 configuration would have made a minute difference, especially for generic users. Deep diving into performance now, let's start by talking about performance-hungry tasks like gaming and shooting with the V25 Pro. The smartphone by itself providing plenty of power to deal with graphic-intensive tasks, and it holds up pretty well for a respectable period. I was gaming with the device over the previous weekend, switching between COD Mobile and Genshin Impact. This was a 1.5 hour session with maxed out graphics on both games. My observations are generally favorable for the device in terms of graphic output. There are no lags or ugly frame drops that would spoil my experience. The device was super responsive and would connect with the parties and servers in a snap. So that's another win. However, it was the heat management that was a bit of a letdown. The smartphone gets considerably hot with prolonged sessions of games, and it would over time to get difficult to hold for it a long time. The edges and glass back put together add to the warmth the bag is throwing. Eventually, I had to keep it aside for about 5 minutes before jumping into another session. This heating issue was not as prominent with the camera. Clearly, the graphic intensive tasks pushes the V25 Pro to the brink. To put things into perspective, I also ran a Geekbench score for the device and the results are nothing extraordinary. The single core score was 843 while the multi-core score was 2554. This was higher than 2-year-old flagships but considerably lower than the likes of Poco F3 with a multi-core score of 3062. But again, V25 Pro is not pitched like a gaming device. Moving on, the RAM management on the device is decent. The 12GB of RAM on my variant can hold light apps like web browsers and social media apps like Instagram or Facebook for long. The phone holds up well halfway for heavier apps like COD Mobile eventually crashing. I tried the RAM expansion on board, which adds another 8GB from system storage. This improved the experience with heavy apps considerably. If you are into gaming, I suggest keeping the RAM extension on. Coming to the battery performance, the V25 Pro packs in a 4830 mAh battery, which supports 66-watt flash charge with the bundled power brick. This cell is not big with the numbers, and on a heavy day full of gaming and watching movies, I was getting a screen on time up to 6 hours. Do note here that this is with a 120Hz refresh rate and non-stop uses. In layman's terms, this means with heavy uses, you would have to put it up on charge at least once in the middle of the day, while a light user can stretch it for an entire day easily. Charging times are fairly decent. The phone goes from 0 to 100% in about 50 minutes with an active internet connection. Yes, it's not crazy fast when you pitch it against the likes of OnePlus Nord 2T with 80-watt SuperVOOC charging or Oppo Reno 8 Pro, but it holds up well. This is the section where V25 Pro is in its element. We get a triple rear camera on the V25 Pro, with the primary camera being a 64-megapixel sensor with optical image stabilization. Then there is an 8-megapixel ultrawide sensor and a 2-megapixel useless macro sensor. Vivo in their briefing mentioned reportedly how rather than going for more megapixels, they have sought to increase the pixel size instead. The results are stunning. Speaking first, in favorable lighting conditions, the images were crisp and retained warm color tones, but not so far off from the source. There was minimal saturation, with the camera sensor maintaining consistency across images. The 64-megapixel OIS may not be as effective for videos, but the assistance it provides in videos is commendable. I have clicked multiple images of fast-moving objects on the road with the V25 Pro, and the results seem like I stopped time in that frame. This performance is ahead of the previous phone I tested, the OnePlus 10T. But this is not even its strongest suit. YS Super Night Portrait is Vivo's big pitch for the V25 Pro. The YS algorithm enables the phone to click clear portraits in low light. This claim is made halfway, but the 50% is no short of surprise. I clicked multiple images in pitch dark conditions with the Vivo V25 Pro, and the camera app would show me in real time how the images are going to look once clicked and processed. Yes, the images in some conditions can take up to 11 seconds to process, but the results would be bright frames in contrast to the pitch dark in the room. This is without the dual LED flash in action and strictly AI at play. The edge detection, however, in night mode was off. The portraits under natural lighting conditions are a sight to behold, and you can even adjust the bokeh effect in the Photos app. The edge detection is top notch. I did notice the image getting warmer tones with HDR turned on. This was mostly with reds in the frame. The ultrawide camera, while giving you more room, changes the color tone of the frame considerably. This is visible with the camera samples below. The 2 megapixel macro camera is the weak link in this camera module. It retains decent colors, but the details are usually off-put. Still, if you maintain patience, you can click some decent shots. Video performance raises the bar back again. The camera can record 4K videos at 30 and 60 fps. The hybrid image stabilization on the camera does make its presence felt with fast-moving changes in camera angles. The jitters were minimal and the lens would focus quickly. The audio quality is also quite good. Vivo's commitment to making this a camera-centric smartphone is justified. The device gets a dedicated vlog mode which lets you play around the both front and both cameras at the same time. Other features like live photos and AI enhancements are all adds on which majority of consumers will like. The selfie camera is a 32 megapixel shooter with eye autofocus. I have clicked multiple selfies with and without my glasses with the V25 Pro, and so far the results have been decent. It considerably mellows down the skin tone and makes the skin look paler. This is without any air filter turned on. However, the results gradually get better once you use AI enhancements, and in post-processing it does its magic. Vivo V25 Pro has a very clear consumer base to whom I can recommend this device. It is for buyers who have cameras as their top priority, and this is undisputedly the V25 Pro's strongest suit. The design of this smartphone comes a close second for its overall appeal. Buyers who seek more reliable performance from their devices in terms of gaming and the battery should consider other options in the market like the OnePlus Nord 2T and Nothing Phone 1. And if you can stretch your budget, then the OnePlus 10T is also a valuable choice.